Hello, this video is the solution key for the data analysis unit part of your semester 1 review packet. Feel free to skip around. I'm going to go through the problems in order. So we're going to start with 19, which says consider the dot plot shown to the right. What is the range of the data? With a dot plot, you can see that our minimum is here. We have 1, 1. And then our max is 9. So 9 minus 1, my range is 8. Pretty straightforward. Alright, for the next part, it says we have to do the mean, median, and mode. The mode is really easy to see with the dot plot. It's the number that has the most dots. So here, the mode would be 3. So I'm just going to label that there, and that leaves the median and the mean. So for the median, what I did when I worked through this is I actually wrote the numbers out in order. So I have 1, 1. I have 4 3s, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1 4. I have 2 5s, 1 6, and 1 9. This just makes it easier to make sure I accurately calculate the median, and then you can go through and cross off one at a time. So it looks like I am between 3 and 4, so my median should be 3.5. Okay, and then for the mean, oops, not mean. A lot of you guys remember this. You're going to add them all up and divide by how many there are, so I'm going to go through and do that quick now. So I got 42, and then we divide by the 10 numbers, and we get a mean of 4.2. So for number 20, we have a histogram. It shows the it says the histogram shown to the right summarizes the results from a survey where people were asked how many pairs of shoes they own. So this is how many people own 30 or more pairs of shoes. So if I look at my histogram and I look at shoes, it's on the x-axis, there's 30. So how many people own 30 or more? So that's going to be all the data that way. It looks like there's 1 person in that bin, 2 here, and 1 here. So it looks like 4 people. How many people were surveyed? That means we have to add up all of them. So there's 14 people here. That looks like about 2. And that one looks like it might be 5. So let's add all of those up. Looks like 25 people total were surveyed. Okay, we have a box and whisker plot now. It says the box plot below summarizes the same set of data about pairs of shoes owned. What is the median number of shoes owned? Okay, if you remember how a box and whisker plot is set up, this end here is your min, right there. That is your max. Beginning of box is Q1, end of your box is Q3, and then middle of your box is your median. So here our median is 10. How many outliers are there? Outliers are shown by these dots. Those are our outliers. So there are 3 outliers. What is the range of the data set? Range is still the same, so I would have a max of 50 minus our min of, let's erase here so I can see what I had there. Minimum looks like it is 2, so then a range of 48. And what percentage of people own more than 20 pairs of shoes? Well, if you remember a box and whisker plot, I'm going to sketch one down here. They have 4 parts. So here's one part, second part, third part, and fourth part. Each one of those is 25%. So if I'm looking at 20 or more, that's my last part of my box and whisker plot, the last piece. That's my upper 25%. For 22, we've got a stem and leaf plot. It says the stem and leaf plot below shows the ages of people at a holiday dinner. So how many people were at the holiday dinner? You're just going to add up how many numbers there are on the right side of that line right there. So I got 9, and I counted that. And what was the range of all the ages? Range is still max minus min, so for that one I would do 71 minus 13, right? I read that this 71 as 71, and then the minimum will be 13, so the range looks like was 58. And then again, calculate the mean, median, and mode. Well, mode is pretty quick. It's what shows up the most, so let's do that first. Which one shows up the most? It looks like is 13. We have 2 of those, and none other that have that are repeated. So that's it. Median and mean. So median. Again, you could write them all in order. So I'd have 13, 13, 14, 18, 23, 44, 49. 52 and 71, and you don't have to write them in order, but I like to. And then we're just going to cross off 1 from each side. Median is 23. I didn't calculate the mean out. I'm going to save some time here, but you're going to add all of these up, right? Which is all the numbers I wrote here, and then you divide by 9. So you'd add them up, you divide by 9 to get your mean. 23 says a set of data contains these numbers, so 20, 22, 26, and 32, and then our last missing one, n. If all the numbers are greater than 20, what must be the value of n if? So there are 4 separate problems. So let's look at just at A. So if we want the range to be 18, what does n have to be? Well, we know our min is 20, and so our max has to be 18 greater than that, because to get our range, we do max minus min. So if our min is 20, then we have some number n minus 20 has to be 18. Well, n must equal 38. All right, let's look at our next one. It says the mode is 22. So now we just want the mode to be 22. Well, 22 only shows up once, like the other numbers. So if we want it to be the mode or the most, it has to show up again. So n would be 22 in that case. The median is 22 and every number is different. So for C, let's put them in order and leave some space, and I'll explain why. So I know I have a 20, I have a 22, I have a 26, and I have a 32, and then I have some missing number n still that needs to go in there somewhere. But I know I want the median to be 22. So median means middle. So I know it needs to fit between these 2 numbers because I have 2 on the left and 2 on the right, which means n itself also has to be 22. And then if the mean is 26, well, mean is add them all up and divide by how many there are. So let's add up the ones that we do know. And I got 100, and then we have our missing one, n. That's going to be divided by how many numbers we really have, which is 5. N is our missing one, and we want that to equal 26. Now you can solve this like an equation. I'm going to multiply 5 out on both sides, so I get 100 plus n is equal to 130. You subtract 100 from both sides, and I know n should be 30. That's our answer for D. Okay, 24 says the box plot for the set of data given, which is that list of numbers, is given below. What's the value of A, B, C, D, and E? E should be at the end there. So let's look at this. We know A is our minimum, so that's going to be 2. B is the beginning of our Q1. So let's just look at our data and find this info. So before I can find Q1, I need to know my median. So I'm going to find my median first, crossing off my data here. That's C. That's the middle of my box. So I know the median is 10. Okay, when I find my Q1, I do not include my median. So I'm not going to include this 10 here. And then I'm going to cross off the ones on the left side. So between 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, I need to find the middle of that. So 2, 9, 4. It looks like my Q1 was 7. And now I can find my Q3, that's D, upper half, and I find the middle of that. Looks like that's 14, and then E is my max. No work required, that's, I think was 22, let's erase here. Yeah, 22. 25 says explain why each of the following graphs is misleading. I'm not going to write anything down for this, let's just talk through it. A is a circle graph or a pie graph. You guys have heard it called a couple different things. For these ones, you really want to make sure that everything in here, it should add up to 100%. So like if I added up everything, I'd get 20, 40, 65. I only get 80%. So for A here, the issue with my circle graph is it does not add up to 80%. So that data is not accurately displayed. So for those ones, watch for your percentages inside adding up to less than 100 or more than 100. All right, and then B, we've got a bar graph over here. With these types of graphs, you really want to look at your axes, your titles, kind of what's going on overall. My big thing I see right away is that my graph starts at 16,200 and not 0. Now, it's not that we can't do that. That's okay. Usually we indicate that squiggly line to show we skipped ahead here and didn't start at 0. But we have to remember when we don't start at 0, it distorts our data. So it makes a difference between these bars, all of the bars shown, it makes them look bigger than they really are. So if we look at our actual numbers, the minimum here, right, for that guy is 16,300 and the max is 16,800. So the difference is really only 500 pounds, which considering these numbers is not huge, but the way the graph is presented makes it look like it could be. Thanks for watching!